How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in. We are getting closer and closer to mini camp for the Chiefs. It begins on the 17th, which is tomorrow. Super exciting things to come. And that being said, today we're going to talk about the three people that are under pressure, so to say. And when I say under pressure, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are in a contract season, or they could just be jumping up into a bigger role. Regardless, we're going to break down three. While there is multiple, I can make a case for everybody. I don't think that you, I think that there are certain people in the organization on the Chiefs roster that feel way more comfortable about their position going into the season than these three guys. So without further ado, let's break it down. The first one is going to be pretty obvious. The second one will kind of throw you off a little bit, but I'll explain it, at least from my perspective. So here we go. The first one is wide receiver Sky Moore. We have talked about Sky Moore before. I've made a whole podcast just discussing Sky Moore and the difficulty that he's had in trying to find his footing in Kansas City. A former second round pick has yet to blossom into what, the ceiling was. And it's just, unfortunately, it has been a career of the what ifs. And, he's still very young, right? There's still a liable chance that he's able to come through. He's able to figure it out, whether it's in Kansas City or not, regardless. Last season, obviously, was the worst of his 3 years that he's been here. That in itself puts pressure on not only him, but him to do better to keep a job. This is going to be his fourth year. It's the end of his contract. He is fighting with a very, very competitive wide receiving room. We've talked about the wide receiving room and how competitive it is. And with how inexplosive the Chiefs were last season with the injuries to the wide receiving room, it's going to be massively different, that you would think that they're going to throw out their best wide receiving options. And those options are guys who are hungry or are proven. While Moore is hungry, there are, in my opinion, I think guys who are hungrier, i.e., Jalen Royals. Not to say that not that they're like incomparable, right? They're completely two different players. They have different skill sets. But for Sky Moore, in a position to where he started off with a high ceiling or a high projection, and he hasn't yet to live up to that. Whereas Jalen Royals was picked in a later rounds, he has to prove himself, but with less pressure. As we've seen also throughout training camp, rookie mini camp, Jalen Royals has been keeping it very steady. He's on the trajectory to being one of the multiple pieces for the Kansas City Chiefs. So much so that I don't know if Sky Moore, if his job is secure. One thing that they talked about that we've seen is that Sky Moore added a lot of muscle. And while that's great for receiving, battling off defenders, I think that we're going to need to see a whole lot more from Sky Moore. That's funny. We have to see a whole lot more from Sky Moore in order for him to earn his spot on the roster, more than just adding weight in the weight room. Well, that's great. That's the epitome of what a wide receiver should be. You got to be chiseled, speedy, all of this. I just think that the priority for him is that, better route running, receiving yards, targets. He got targets last season with no receptions, and it's just kind of been a fluctuation of where Sky Moore going to go. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be bad? Do you put him in the punt return position? We'll have to wait and see. But that's the first guy under pressure. If he wants to keep a job going forward in Kansas City, that he is under pressure. Now, the second one, I told you that it wouldn't be it's different. It's different than the first one. And that's Jaden Hicks. Hear me out. So, obviously, we know that Jaden Hicks is going into his second season. great first season as a rookie. He often played coming off the bench while they had Justin Reed. And that is the kicker as to why I can see that there would be pressure put on Jaden Hicks. Now that Justin Reed has departed for the New Orleans Saints, Hicks has been pushed into this position of safety starter, a starting safety, so that it's, for a young guy, great opportunity. You don't want to make a mark of that or show that you're not appreciative. I can just see, though, being a young guy myself, I can understand this. While it's like, oh wow, I had the pressure before. I'm trying to make my way into the league, trying to find my footing in the locker room and all that. And now I'm the head honcho. I'm one of the prime defenders out there for my team. I can see how that's a big jump from from year one to year two. However, he's talented. He's got a ton of things going his way. In fact, he said that he learned a lot from from Justin Reed, saying that he made a lasting impact on him. How to be a leader in the locker room, how to go about your business while you're on the field, how to conduct yourself when you're off the field. Great role model to have. He said, though, that he wants to be a voice out there and a leader on the defense. It's good to see that he's stepping forward. I just don't want the pressure or like the overall surrounding pressure to push him down so much to where if he's not succeeding early on, he loses that confidence. We've seen Jaden Hicks play with confidence before, and he's a much better player when he continuously plays with confidence. So that's number two. Under pressure in a sense of performing and going into a new role, as well as in Sky Moore's situation, fighting for a role or fighting for a future. This one kind of relates to the Sky Moore example, and that's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. I've talked about him an awful lot, and I'm going to keep this one short and simple since I have talked about it multiple times. If you do have missed that, go check out some other videos specifically talking about the running back room. As we know, Isaiah Pacheco, he's coming back with the hope that he can get back to his old ways. Last season was not very good in the time that he was on the field, and he's coming to an end to his contract. While he's playing for a role in the future, he's also playing for a role right now. The fact that the Kansas City Chiefs went out and drafted Brashard Smith out of SMU, I think that puts an extra amount of pressure on Pacheco, because now that they have a similar guy that used to be how Isaiah Pacheco was, a late round pick. You blossom well. Guys got injured. Smith is fast. He can move himself up. He has multiple ways to attack you. He can be a running back or punt returner or a wide receiver. He's got a lot of things to bring to the table. If it's Isaiah Pacheco, you have to be explosive in the run game, a run game that hasn't seen over 1,000 yards for the running backs in quite some time. While they don't necessarily use their ground game all that often and they make plays otherwise to get the ball down the field, I can see a world where if Isaiah Pacheco is trying to make a name for himself and keep his job, if Kansas City wants to keep him, need I remind you, like I said to start off this, he's got his 1-year contract left. That's it. I think that a lot of things are going to go his way, though. Just graduated, got his degree, coming back from injury. He's also put on some healthy weight. And while I understand that the hitting the weight room is always great, I think that it's so much so where it's like it's a God-given talent that these guys are able to play football. They just have to own the talent. I understand that being physical, being powerful in stature is great, but at least for a running back, if you're not avoiding defenders, you can't just always hope that your strength is going to be able to push it. But that is a good part of his game coming forward. So those are the three guys I believe are going into mini camp with pressure on them. While training camp is still sometime in July, it's important to keep an eye on these guys right now. I will keep you updated on all three. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, check out that ticker down below. If you're listening, my Twitter or X is at Dom Minchella, DOMMINCHELLA. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss it. You can also follow our page over on X at KC Chiefs on SI, where we post every single day for the wonderful group of writers that we have. We're all working very hard to cover the NFL offseason, specifically for the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're excited to keep on bringing up minicamp for you guys. That being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Be kind to one another and take care.